What's up, everyone? How's it going? Today, I'm going to be talking about listening to music versus hearing music. All right, so I might reverse the order of that, but I got a couple things I want to speak on, and it's just kind of talking my thoughts out loud, putting them together, and seeing how it goes, really. I've had this idea for a video for a minute now, and I'm just now getting to it because, sometimes you just got to force yourself to do, you know what I mean? Like, I put stuff off all the time. I'm the procrastination king, basically, so I'd figure I just got to do it, just got to talk about whatever and hope someone out there is listening. Let me get into the main point now. So there's hearing music and there's listening to music. So hearing music, it's just kind of background noise. Your full attention's not onto it. Listening to music is the exact opposite. Your full attention is into it. You're hearing all the different instruments, all the different flows and everything. You're listening to every word. You're catching the references. All of that. Now, when people talk about music, I hate it when they just hear it one time. You listen to an album one time, but you didn't really listen. You didn't really grasp what it was about or get into it with your emotions. You didn't relate to it. And it's okay because everyone listens to music differently. But me personally, when I listen to music, I listen to music. I put on some noise canceling headphones and I just zone into that. I'm just full on focused to that. And I hope most people who see this are like that because I'm trying to relate to people. I'm trying to get the people who are like me with listening to music. So that is really just the main point I want to put out there, and honestly probably the title of this video. But there's some other things I want to talk about. So I've determined differences in things. It's either this or that, and that's kind of what you're going to see throughout this video. There's two main things I want to talk about. The first one is about hip hop versus rap. There's a difference. All right. And the next thing is a theory I have. I mentioned it in another video. There's music for the ears and there's music for the head. All right. And you can kind of see where this is going, I feel. But basically, let's talk about hip hop versus rap real quick. Okay. So this is all my thought process. So this is kind of how my brain works. So you guys let me know if this makes sense. But my argument for rap versus hip hop versus rap, whichever I said first, hip hop is everything. It's the whole big genre, and rap is just a subgenre of that. When I say hip hop is everything, I mean that. It's really everything. It's trap music, it's drill, it's pop, it's rage, it's experimental. What else? There's boom bap, there's gangster hood rap, there's emo rap, there's even instrumental music. You see what I mean? There's all these different types of hip hop music that is all collectively hip hop. There's genres to it, you know what I mean? There's different types of hip hop, like everything I listed. There's even some jazz hip hop or even some rock hip hop. You know what I mean? I feel like that kind of falls more into the experimental genre that I listed, but that's everything hip hop. And then rap it's the act. I mean, this sounds like common sense, but rap is the act of rapping. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this because I feel like I'm coming off kind of weird here, but there's just a difference between hip hop and rap. Rap is the flows. It's the words. It's obviously rapping. You know what I mean? So when there's those songs that it's just nonstop rap. Sometimes there's not even a chorus. That's rap to me. It's just nonstop, just words, just flowing. So that's the difference between hip hop and rap. Like rap is a part of hip hop. Hip hop is the whole big idea, and then rap is just something within that. So when people claim, when they talk about it and they say you listen to rap music, it's like, well, yes, but I listen to like rap along with hip hop music. But let's look at someone like Tyler the Creator. All right, he's a hip hop artist, but he has a rapping ability. He can spit if he really wants to. He doesn't always though, because he's very musically inclined. He produces all of his stuff, and it all sounds great. I love it. but he's not. I wouldn't label him as a rapper. You know, a rapper to me, someone like Kendrick is a rapper. The whole Kendrick Drake beef, people say it's different. You know why both their music is different? Is because Drake does a little bit of everything. There's no one genre that he does, and Kendrick is a rapper. He is that's true like hip hop. I mean, you can make the argument. I'm not going into all that, but someone like J. Cole, he's a rapper. He's not just a hip hop artist. You can be both. I need to stress that you can be both. But I'm just trying to show you my point of if I say in my videos I'm talking about a rapper, I'm talking a real rapper. I hope you can understand that last part. Hope that comes through all right. Hope it makes sense in my own words. But now we're going to be focusing on this theory that I came up with a year or so ago. I mentioned it in another video, mentioned it earlier in this video. My theory of music for the ears versus music for the head. Now, it's kind of similar to the whole, hearing music versus listening to music kind of thing. In short, music for the ears is because it sounds good, and music for the head is deeply listening to something, even listening to it with emotion. All right. So you can see where I'm going with this. Let me break it down. I have a whole note list that I'm reading off for this because I had so much to say about it. So there's going to be a lot of cuts. There's going to be a lot of me looking down. But basically, I'm going to start with for the head. All right. So for the head is for the listeners, the deep listening. When I say for the head, I mean that's for the people who want to listen. It's the people who truly encapsulate themselves into the music. A lot of times, these people can feel the music more, and love the instrumentals and love the way it's put together. Like myself, this is how I look at all music whenever I'm listening to it. I love to listen to music in depth, and sometimes that means getting high and just really focusing on what's going on, what I'm hearing. And honestly, the best way to do this is to listen with a nice pair of headphones. Get you an expensive pair of headphones if you really like music. Just noise cancel it and just really zone in on it. And when I say this music for the head, I mean most of the time it's better actual music. It's not just something that's quickly made. There's time put into this. There's real inspiration and thought and real time put into it. I will forever think of someone like Tyler the Creator because that man can make music. He's extremely talented. I mean, he writes all of his music. It's all him. It sounds like him. You know what I mean? I wish every artist could do that because the best thing in music, in my opinion, is originality. I love when an artist is themselves and they really show that. Here are some examples of for the head music. Songs with actual meaning behind it. Songs that are deep. Songs where you can feel the singer's emotion. Songs where the instruments feel like an emotion. The guitar crying or anything like that. Songs that make you feel good. Songs that make you feel emotional. That's the best. Songs that you are meant to listen to, not just hear, not just throw on in the background when you're having fun during the summer. I'm talking deeply listen. I'm talking in the bedroom, you're just sitting there on your own listening. And most of the time, when a song is meant to be for you to listen like that, it's longer a lot of times, and a lot of times people don't want to sit and listen. It happens. So sometimes this music is emotionally based. It's mood music, as I'd call it. It's just that music that it pulls that emotion out of you. It really helps you feel your emotions. Sometimes you're in a place where you can't really feel much, but if you're like me, music helps you feel that. You know what I mean? You can really understand how you're feeling through music, or maybe through someone else's struggles, whether it may be, but it's emotional. It can make you feel any type of emotion, whether it brings out the hypeness in you, whether it's nostalgic, makes you angry, makes you sad, makes you happy, makes you even feel love, even pain. It's just stuff that makes you feel. In other cases, sometimes there's music where you feel the artist's emotion, and this is mostly for the people who are empathetic. But you know these type of songs and albums where the artist is trying to help you feel their emotion or show you their emotion, a lot of times that's what I'm describing as for the head. This is where you gotta sit and listen, or you gotta understand it, or really put some thought into it. I think the king of music for the head, in my opinion, my king is Kendrick Lamar. He's the greatest storytelling rapper ever, and I just think he's so good at what he does, and he really makes that music where you can paint a picture in your head of what's going on. And I love that. So he's the king. Let's move on to music for the ears now. A lot of music that's for the ears is the exact opposite of everything I said for the head, but not fully. But I will say it's music you don't have to listen to that hard. You know, you can just throw it on and your head's already bopping as soon as you hear the beat. And I do want to point out before I go into it, I have nothing against this type of music. I just love listening to music in depth, like for the head. But for the ears is great too. Most of the current hip hop falls under this category for me of for the ears because most of it is just kind of quickly made and it's made to put out there and for you to enjoy right away. It's the Playboy Cardis, it's the Drakes, you know what I mean? If you picture that type of song, those type of artists, their music and their songs that they make, you can see what I mean. It's not a lot of it isn't super in depth. I'm not saying that all of it is like that, but it's just popular songs, if you get what I mean. What I'm trying to say is a lot of it is trendy songs. I mean, think about why songs go number one. It's easier for the mass amount of people to listen to. It's just an easy song to listen to. A lot of times it's a basic beat with a catchy chorus. Just think about it. Just look at all the number one songs in history. Like most of the time the entirety of the song is just, whatever, but it got popular because, well, nowadays because of TikTok and just a short segment of it is most likely super catchy. So people start to become familiar with it and they like it and everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I know plenty of songs like that. But for the ears music is music where there's nothing super special about it. It's nothing too deep, but it can be great. And you know who I have in mind right now is Baby Keem. That's exactly who comes to mind in this category. I mean, think of his lyrics, right? Straight to the point. You got it right. Exactly what he said is there's nothing deep about it. Here are some examples of for the ears music. It's songs that are catchy, songs that are easy to listen to. You can be in any mood. Sometimes there's not much thought behind it. Maybe sometimes there's not much effort behind it. It's just music to be music. Nothing special to it. Once again, I'm not saying for the ears music is bad. I love it. You know what I mean? I love all types of music. I might even listen to it more. I mean, there's plenty of music that I listen to that's for the ears. I mean, honestly, like I said, most of current hip hop is, and most of the time that's pretty much what I'm listening to because I'm not always locked in my zone listening to stuff. Sometimes you just throw something on and you just have it on. You're not deeply listening to it all the time. In my opinion, the king of music for the ears is Travis Scott. Think about it. His music that fits that category perfectly in my opinion. Think of the king of for the head that I said was Kendrick versus king of for the ears, which is Travis. Think of their music and how it's different. All right. And I hope you can see what I'm saying with that. Now, I would like to bring up the fact that it can be for the head and the ears. Okay. It can be both. And most of it is. I think Kendrick Lamar is actually the perfect person that fits the category for both, like right down the middle for the ears and head. Because, I mean, think about it. He's got hits that are for the ears. They're easy to listen to. They're hype. They're all that. Then he's got slower music that's more for the head. It's for the listeners. It's for the potheads and whatnot. And I only say that because sometimes when I do get high, Kendrick's probably my favorite artist to put on because I mean his beats, his beat selection, the production on all of his songs. If you really listen to it and just get in that zone, it's so good. It's just you feel like you float. I love it. Continuing with the Kendrick glazing, someone like him with both his lyrics and his beat selection is what makes my favorite type of artist. Now I'm thinking, my top two artists are probably Kendrick and Mac Miller, and that's enough said. I love when someone can really rap and they also have a perfect beat on it and they can do anything on any beat. That's just, I mean, that's Kendrick and that's Mac Miller. That's head to head. I love music that you're kind of drawn into and it's meant to be listened to, especially when an artist makes it themselves, because what you're hearing is them. You know what I mean? That's the Tylers that I'm talking about. It's the Mac Millers, it's the Kendricks. I love that so much. An example of an artist who kind of took the approach of both for the head music and for the ears is Lil Yachty. Now he's mostly for the ears, most of his beats are catchy beats, but then he also went with a different approach with his album Let's Start Here. That is completely for the head. That album had more of a listening aspect than a hearing aspect. That is it for my video. I hope all that makes sense. I hope you understand my difference in hearing music versus listening to music, for the ears music versus for the head music, and really the whole difference between hip hop and just rap in general. But there goes the train, so that's my time to go. Gotta hop on it. Peace.